Captain Myra Solace of the Odyssey stood on the bridge, eyes fixed on the view screen. Below them, the planet Zareta glowed with emerald oceans and violet continents. Humanity's first diplomatic mission to the Zyretians promised hope and danger. As the shuttle descended, Mira felt her heart pound. On the surface, the Zyretians emerged tall, lithe figures, whose skin shimmered like moonlight. Their eyes were gentle pools of silver, and they moved with quiet grace. Among them stood Illyra, the ambassador. She wore a simple tunic that revealed slender hips and long legs, her form at once familiar and utterly alien. Mira stepped forward, extending her hand. Illyra met it with a soft smile. "Welcome," she said, her voice a warm melody that echoed in Mira's mind. Awareness bloomed in the captain's chest. This moment would shape humanity's future. Part 2. A curious glance over the next days. Humans and Zyretians traded stories and technology. Mira spent hours in Illyra's company, learning about history of peace and art. Illyra laughed easily at human jokes, and Mira found herself smiling more than she had in years. One morning, as Illyra gestured toward a model of Earth's moon, Mira felt an uneasy heat on her cheeks. She was staring unintentionally transfixed by the gentle curves of Illyra's hips and the way her tunic draped between her legs. Suddenly, self-conscious, Mira snapped her eyes back to the model. Illyra paused. Her silver eyes narrowed playfully. "Captain Solace," she said softly, stepping closer. "Is it what's between my legs that confuses you?" Mira's heart leaped. She stammered an apology, but Illyra only tilted her head, curiosity dancing in her expression. Part 3. Words unsaid, that question hung between them like a fragile glass sculpture. Mira struggled for words. "I am sorry," she managed. "I didn't mean to stare." Illyra's smile softened. "Humans and Zyretians both have anatomy that sustains life. Yet you seem puzzled." Mira swallowed. She admired Illyra's beauty, but also recognized her own ignorance. In humanity's rush to explore, no one had prepared her for the intimate strangeness of an alien form. Illyra stepped back. "Tell me, Captain, what do you see?" Mira took a shaky breath. "I see strength. I see life. But I also see the gap in my own understanding." Illyra nodded. "Then let us close that gap together." Part 4. Tension rises in the days that followed. Mira and Illyra spent long hours in the ambassador's private study. Illyra explained Zyreta's physiology, speaking of birthing blossoms instead of children, of bioluminescent patterns that marked maturity. Mira listened, notebook in hand, but her mind often drifted to Illyra's gentle gaze. Late one evening, as rain tapped on the viewport, Mira found herself confessing fears she had never shared. The loneliness of command, the doubts about humanity's worth, the ache of being so far from home. Illyra placed a soft hand on Mira's arm. "We all yearn to be understood," she whispered. Their eyes met, and in that moment, human and Zyretian hearts beat in a shared rhythm. But just as Mira reached for Illyra's hand, an alarm blared through the station pirate ships decloaking in orbit. Part 5. The Crucible chaos erupted. The pirates attacked, blasting communications arrays and hurling the station into darkness. As alarms shrieked, Mira and Illyra were separated. Mira raced through smoke-filled corridors, her mind pounding. She found Illyra trapped beneath a fallen beam, veins along her arms glowing faintly in distress. With superhuman strength born of desperation, Mira heaved the beam aside. Illyra gasped, her skin flickering like a dying star. Mira wrapped an arm around her. "I've got you," she said, voice steady, despite her pounding heart. Illyra's eyes filled with gratitude. "Thank you, Captain." Mira helped her to safety, then led a counterattack, rallying the crew to push back the pirates. When the last raider ship fled, Mira collapsed, exhaustion claiming her. Illyra knelt beside her, brushing a strand of hair from Mira's forehead. Part 6. Healing and honesty. In the days after the battle, the station was quiet. Walls were repaired, shields recharged. Myra and Illyra spent long hours in the medical bay, Lyra healing from bruises, Myra from cuts and strain. Their hands brushed, again and again, each time sending warmth through both their bodies. One evening, Illyra traced patterns on Mira's arm with her fingertip. "You stared at me before," she said softly. "Now I wonder what else do you see?" Mira closed her eyes. "I see a being more compassionate than any I've known. I see someone whose difference challenges me to grow. I see love." Illyra's silver eyes glowed. "Then let us walk this path, human and Zyretian, side by side." Part 7. A powerful new dawn when the Odyssey finally departed Zareta. Mira and Illyra stood hand in hand on the observation deck. Below, blue-green earth beckoned, and beside her, Illyra's presence felt like home. Mira raised her voice to the assembled crew. "Humanity once feared the unknown. Today, we embrace it. We have learned that life, in any form, deserves respect, and that love can bridge worlds." A cheer rose through the station. Illyra squeezed Mira's hand. As the shuttle launched toward home, Mira looked at Illyra and whispered, "Thank you for teaching me what truly lies between your legs and between our hearts." Illyra smiled, her eyes shining brighter than any star. "Together, we will light the darkness." And so, under twin suns, human and Zyretian embarked on a journey of discovery, proving that, when hearts unite, no gap is too great to cross. Captain Myra Solis spent her mornings in the gleaming conference hall, reviewing Zyreta's cultural archives with Ambassador Illyra at her side. Sunlight filtered through crystalline windows, painting rainbows on the polished floor. Illyra spoke of Zyreta's art-living murals that bloomed on cavern walls, and Mira listened, absorbed by Illyra's soft voice and the graceful sweep of her limbs. Simple words tumbled between them, each one building a bridge of understanding. As Illyra explained how Zyretians celebrated life through song, she moved to trace a pattern in the hologram at their feet. Mira watched, mesmerized by the way Illyra's hips curved and the gentle line of her tunic at the waist. The light caught the fabric just between Illyra's legs, where it draped in soft folds. Mira's heart pinched with surprise at how beautiful and alive Illyra seemed. Mira felt her cheeks burn. She tried to focus on the glowing symbols on the floor, but every time Illyra spoke, Mira's eyes flicked upward. There was intelligence in those silver eyes, and warmth, and a curious spark. Yet something about Illyra's form unsettled her, feeling both foreign and thrilling. She had faced danger and war, negotiated peace with hardened leaders, but nothing had prepared her for the quiet power of an alien body. Illyra paused mid-sentence. She turned, tilting her head so that her shimmering hair caught the light. "Captain Solis," she asked gently, "you seem distracted." Her voice was a melody that resonated in Mira's mind long after the words faded. Mira swallowed, searching for calm. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "It's nothing. Please, continue." But Illyra did not continue. Instead, she stepped closer, the soft leather of her boots silent on the floor. The distance between them shrank until Mira could see each delicate detail, the graceful line of Illyra's jaw, the faint luminescent glow beneath her skin, and the soft gather of her tunic where it met her thighs. Illyra folded her hands in front of her, and Mira realized she was staring captivated by what lay between those hands. Illyra's smile was patient, curious. "Is it what's between my legs that confuses you?" she asked, tilting her head with gentle amusement. The question was not mocking, but honest, an invitation to speak a truth Myra had not yet dared admit. Myra's stomach nodded. She had never stared at a person's body in this way, not an enemy, not a crewmate, and certainly never an ally, whose trust meant so much. Yet here she was, caught in a moment of vulnerability. Slowly, she met Illyra's gaze. "I admit," she said, voice low, "I have never seen a body like yours. I don't understand all of your biology. You are so beautiful, so different. Illyra's silver eyes softened, and she reached out, brushing a fingertip against Mira's arm. The touch was light as air, yet it sent a tremor through Mira's whole being. Then let me teach you, Illyra said. Knowledge turns confusion into wonder. Mira exhaled, relief and longing mingling in her chest. She nodded, turning back to the holomap at their feet. As Illyra spoke again, this time about Zyrata's unique life cycles, Mira listened with renewed purpose. Each word Illyra offered became a seed of curiosity and trust, and though the moment of awkward tension remained in the air, it had blossomed into something more, a promise that human and Zyretian could learn each other's secrets, starting with what lay hidden beneath unfamiliar skin. By the time the lesson ended, the sun had dipped low, and the conference hall glowed with twilight. Mira straightened, her notebook full of questions and sketches. Illyra watched her, hope shining in her eyes. For the first time in a long while, Mira felt both the weight of command and the lightness of discovery. In that shared silence, a new chapter of understanding, and perhaps something deeper, was unfolding between them. By the time dinner arrived, the station's mess hall was quiet. Soft lights glowed above long tables, and the scent of roasted vegetables drifted in the air. Captain Myra Solis sat across from Ambassador Illyra, both holding trays filled with unfamiliar dishes. Myra's tea steamed in a pale blue cup, while Illyra's meal pulsed with gentle bioluminescence, a dish of glowing tubers that twinkled like stars. Illyra offered Myra one, explaining, "This is Zyretian nitroot. It helps calm the mind before rest." Mira hesitated, then tasted it. A sweet warmth spread through her chest. "It's comforting," she said, amazed. Illyra smiled, the soft light in her eyes reflecting pride in her culture. As they ate, Mira reviewed her notes on Zyrata's life cycle. "You spoke of bioluminescent patterns marking your coming of age," she said. "But how do you choose a mate?" Her words came slowly, as if she worried they might offend. Illyra paused, tracing a finger on the table's surface. "Zyretians seek harmony," she replied. "When two hearts sing in the same rhythm, our patterns glow in unison. It is a silent song between souls." She looked at Mira, her gaze steady. "But our customs are complex." Mira's heart quickened. She remembered the first time Illyra's skin had shimmered when she laughed. She wanted to know more about Zyretians, about Illyra, about herself. Yet fear whispered, would Illyra judge a human heart so different? Silence stretched between them, broken by the hum of the station's life systems. Then Illyra reached out, placing a warm hand atop Mira's. The glow from the nightroot dish washed over their joined hands, and Mira felt a surge of courage. "Teach me," she said simply. "Teach me your rhythm." Illyra's smile was soft as moonlight. She guided Mira's hand to her chest, just above the heart. "Listen," she whispered. Mira felt a gentle pulsing under her fingertips, steady, soothing. "This is my song." Then Illyra placed Mira's hand over her own heart. "Now you feel mine." Mira closed her eyes. The pulse under her palm was different from her own, but it felt right. A tear slipped down her cheek, gratitude for understanding, longing for closeness. Illyra brushed it away with her thumb. "You are learning quickly," she said. The moment felt fragile, like a glass sculpture balanced on a knife's edge. Outside the mess hall window, the stars of Zyrata spun in silent dance. Mira wondered if humans could ever match such harmony. A pang of doubt tightened her chest. What if she failed? What if her human heart was too loud? Illyra seemed to read her thoughts. She laced her fingers with Mira's. "Difference is not weakness," she said. "It is the spark that lights new paths." Illyra's voice trembled with feeling and emotion, so pure it left Mira breathless. "I choose you, Mira Solis." A rush of emotion flooded Mira's mind, surprise, joy, fear, and hope. She squeezed Illyra's hand in return. "And I choose you," she whispered. The words tasted like sunlight after rain. Illyra's bioluminescent markings brightened, flickering in gentle waves across her forearms, a Xerishan sign of acceptance. They remained hand in hand until the mess hall doors slid open, and Mira's XO called her name. Duty called her back to her role as captain. Mira stood, reluctantly releasing Illyra's hand. "Rest well tonight," Illyra said, voice soft. "Tomorrow, our lessons continue." Mira bowed slightly, sign of respect she had learned from Illyra. "I look forward to it," she replied. As she walked away, she glanced back. Illyra stood bathed in the mess hall's warm glow, her patterns pulsing with quiet light. That night, in her quarters, Mira lay awake. She thought of Illyra's pulse, the taste of nitroot, the warmth of a soft hand in hers. Her duty to humanity weighed heavy, but a new purpose beat in her heart, to build understanding, to bridge two worlds, and to nurture a fragile love born among the stars. Outside her window, Zerata's twin moons rose, and Mira whispered into the darkness, "Good night, my teacher, my friend, my choice." And in the silence that followed, she felt Illyra's rhythm echo in her soul, a promise that no matter how vast the universe, two hearts could always find each other. The station's corridors hummed with routines and soft footfalls, but for Myra's solace, every step felt heavy. Her duties as captain tugged at her mind, reports to file, defenses to inspect, alliances to secure. Yet her heart beat to a different rhythm, echoing Illyra's gentle pulse from the night before. With every command she gave, Mira felt the weight of two worlds pressing on her shoulders. That afternoon, Mira met with her senior officers in the strategy room. Holovids of pirate movements flickered on the screens, and advisors argued tactics. Mira listened, nodding as they debated, but her thoughts strayed to Illyra's silver eyes and the promise of understanding they held. When her XO urged her to decide on a blockade patrol, Mira barked orders without conviction. She caught herself and apologized, then steered the discussion with firmer resolve. Duty took precedence, yet beneath her calm voice, her mind raced. After the meeting, Mira requested a private audience with Illyra in the ambassador's study. Illyra stood before a tall window, watching the violet sky deepen into dusk. Her bioluminescent patterns glowed softly, mirroring the stars beyond. Illyra turned, warmth in her eyes, fading into concern. "You seem troubled," she said quietly. Mira hesitated. She had spent days learning Xerishan physiology and customs, but she still felt like a stranger to her own heart. Guilt flickered in her chest. "I worry I can't balance my duties and us," she confessed. "I want to protect my crew, serve humanity, and yet my mind is filled with thoughts of you." Illyra took a step closer, folding her hands gently. "Your heart is not divided, Mira," she said. "It expands. It holds bravery for your people, and tenderness for me. That is strength, not weakness." She reached out, brushing a fingertip across Mira's cheek. "Let your love guide you, as your duty demands it." Mira closed her eyes at the touch, drawing courage from Illyra's calm presence. "I want to believe that," she murmured. "But shadows of doubt linger." Illyra nodded, understanding in every line of her graceful form. "Then we face them together." She guided Mira to a holomap of Zerata's northern continent. "Show me your concerns." Mira pointed to a cluster of pirate signatures near a resource station. "If pirates disrupt these supplies, colonists on Zerata may suffer. I must act swiftly." Illyra studied the map. "Zerata's healing sanctuaries are here and here," she said, illuminating two sites. "They can aid colonists, but to defend them, we need coordination." Mira felt relief and a surge of clarity. "A joint patrol," she said decisively. "Humans and Xeretians together." Illyra smiled, her luminescent patterns flaring brighter. "Then we shall stand as one." Later that evening, under the glow of the station's artificial moon, Myra and Illyra walked side by side along the observation deck. The galaxy stretched out before them, a tapestry of stars and promise. Mira slipped her hand into Illyra's. "Thank you," she whispered. Illyra leaned her head on Mira's shoulder. "In you, I have found a bridge between worlds," she said. Mira rested her forehead against Illyra's, feeling the steady pulse she had come to cherish. "We will build that bridge," she vowed, "for peace and for us." In that quiet embrace, duty and desire entwined. Though shadows of doubt lingered, they shone with the light of shared purpose. And as the station sailed through the silent void, two hearts beat, in unison, ready to face whatever darkness lay ahead. Before dawn, the joint patrol gathered in the hangar bay. Human Marines in sleek gray armor stood alongside Zyretian Guardians, whose bioluminescent tattoos pulsed softly. Captain Myra Salas stood at the front, flanked by Ambassador Illyra. The two of them embodied the fragile alliance between their peoples, one born of mutual respect and growing affection. Mira raised her voice above the low hum of engines. "Today, we patrolled the northern corridor to protect colonists' supply lines. Stay alert, work as one unit, and trust each other's strengths." Illyra placed a hand on Mira's shoulder. "Together," she added, "we are stronger than any threat." The troops boarded their transport's hovercraft that skimmed above Zyreta's violet plains. Myra and Illyra shared a final glance, their fingers brushing. Neither spoke. Their bond was stronger, in silence. Then the engines roared, and the convoy swept into the pastel light of morning. As they advanced, rocky hills gave way to rolling fields of glowing flora. Zyretian nitrute bloomed beneath human boots, lighting their path with gentle bioluminescence. Illyra pointed to the horizon. "The pirates attacked this station last week," she said quietly. "They took supplies and left survivors stranded." Mira nodded, scanning the terrain. "We cannot allow that again." They reached the first supply depot, a domed habitat nestled among crystalline spires. Zyretian healers emerged to greet them, faces etched with relief. Mira disembarked and embraced the lead healer, a tall figure named Soren. "We are here to help," she assured. Soren bowed. "Your presence gives hope." Inside, colonists huddled around damaged storage units. Illyra knelt by a shattered crate. "Rest assured," she promised, gently smoothing the fur of a child's blanket. "We will repair this." Suddenly, alarms blared outside. Mira's heart thundered. Pirate hovercraft were approaching over the ridges. She drew her sidearm. "Take defensive positions," she ordered. Human Marines crouched behind armored transport holes, rifles aimed. Zyretian Guardians formed a protective circle, their bodies glowing in shifting patterns. Illyra raised her hands, and vines of bioluminescent energy sprouted from the ground, wrapping around supply crates to shield them. Myra sprinted to the front line, adrenaline sharpening her senses. Pirate craft swooped low, firing plasma bolts that carved arcs of orange fire into the violet air. She returned fire, each shot precise. Yet despite her training, she felt a surge of fear, not for herself, but for Illyra. Illyra met Mira's gaze. Across the battlefield, her patterns flared bright, a sign of cohesive strength. She extended an arm, channeling energy into a barrier that absorbed incoming blasts. Mira ran alongside her, feeling an overwhelming surge of pride and love. A pirate raider broke through the outer defenses, charging toward the colonists. Mira fired, but the raider's armor held. Illyra cried out and sent a pulse of bioluminescent force that knocked the raider off balance. Mira seized the moment, knocking the raider to the ground and disarming him. She cuffed his wrist. "It's over," she said firmly. The remaining pirate craft faltered under the joint assault. Human Marines pressed forward with disciplined precision, while Zyretian Guardians wove intricate patterns of light that disoriented the attackers. Within minutes, the raiders retreated, their ships vanishing into the morning mist. Silence fell over the depot. Mira exhaled, her chest tight with relief. She holstered her weapon and turned to Alira. The ambassador's skin still glowed gently, drenched in sweat and dust. Mira dropped to one knee before her, meeting her eyes. "You were incredible," she said softly. Alira offered a tired smile, placing a hand on Mira's cheek. "So were you?" Colonists and healers emerged, cheering the defenders. Soren approached, tears of gratitude in his eyes. "You saved us," he said. "We will rebuild with our allies by our side." Mira rose and addressed the crowd. "Today proves that humans and Zyretians can stand together and win. Let this unity guide our future." Those words, strong and clear, echoed across the plains. That night, back on the station, Myra and Alira walked along the observation deck, overlooking a sea of stars. Myra slipped an arm around Alira's waist. "We faced fire and fear today," she said. "Yet by standing together, we prevailed." Alira leaned into her embrace. "In danger and in peace, our hearts beat as one." Myra closed her eyes, resting her forehead against Ilira's. Memories of the battle faded into the soft hum of the station. In its place was a profound sense of belonging both to her crew and to the alien woman whose pulse now guided her own. As they stood hand in hand, the stars of Zyreta's sky shimmered brighter, reflecting the unity forged in the glow of conflict. And though trials still lay ahead, Mira knew this. Together, human and Zyretian could overcome any darkness, and their shared light would carry them through. Days after the victory, the station settled into a gentle rhythm. Human engineers worked alongside Zyretian builders to repair damage and expand living quarters. The corridors buzzed with laughter and conversation, a rare sound of unity. Yet, beneath the surface, unseen tensions began to stir. Captain Mira Salas strode through a workshop filled with humming machinery. She paused to inspect the joint human-Zyretian habitat module, where sleek human alloys met living crystal walls grown by Zyretian hands. Ambassador Ilira stood nearby, guiding a Zyretian artisan's delicate touch. The space felt alive, breathing with promise. Mira watched, pride warming her chest. "It's beautiful," she said. Ilira turned, her bioluminescent patterns glowing softly. "So is cooperation," she replied. "But beauty needs care." Mira nodded, remembering Ilira's words. Recent reports warned that some human colonists feared Zyretians' alien customs. Whispers of distrust drifted through the lower decks. The delicate alliance that Mira and Ilira had forged risked fracturing under unseen pressure. That afternoon, Mira called a council meeting. Representatives from the United Earth Council, Zyretian, High Circle, and station leadership gathered around a circular table. Voices rose in heated debate. One human delegate demanded full control of the station's security grid. Envoy countered that human weapons posed a threat to peaceful life. Mira raised her hand. "We stand at a crossroads," she said, her voice calm but firm. "If we let fear drive us, we will lose everything we built." She looked to Alira, who met her gaze with unwavering support. "Trust must guide us," Mira continued. "We share one home now. Let us protect it together." Silence fell. Then Alira spoke, her voice like moonlight. "We have proven our unity in battle. Let us now prove it in peace." She proposed a joint oversight council, liquid Zyretian and human representation, to manage security. The room softened. After tense minutes, delegates agreed. Relief washed over Mira. She reached for Ilira's hand under the table, their fingers entwined. A hidden reassurance that hearts and minds could unite, even when grief and doubt clouded the way. That evening, Myra and Alira returned to the observation deck, stars reflected in their eyes as they stood close. "You were brave today," Alira said. "You spoke truth when others faltered." Myra's heart fluttered. "I could not have done it without you." She guided Alira to the railing, where the station's lights cast soft shadows. Tell me, Mira asked, do you ever worry? Illyra inhaled, a quiet glow rippling across her skin. I fear for us our peoples may not yet be ready for this bond. Her voice trembled. But I trust you, Mira. Mira drew Illyra into an embrace. I trust you, too. Beneath their gentle touch, their pulses aligned in soft unity. Just then, an alarm chimed through the station. A red light blinked on the deck sensors. Mira stepped back, tension sharpening her features. What is it? Illyra asked, concern flickering in her eyes. Mira tapped her wrist console. Unauthorized vessel entering approach corridor. She said it bears no transponder code. Illyra's glow intensified. Pirates, she whispered. Or worse, Mira replied, voice low. As they watched, the blip on the screen multiplied into 3. The vessels closed in, dark shapes moving swiftly. Mira's mind raced. Prepare defenses, she ordered through. Then she faced Illyra, determination blazing. Stay with me. Illyra reached for her, unwavering. Always. Together, they raced down the corridor, hearts pounding in unison. Outside the observation window, the station's horizon glowed with incoming ships, an omen that the fragile peace they had built would soon face its greatest trial yet. And in that moment, Captain and Ambassador stood ready to defend not just their station, but the bond blossoming between their souls, a bond that might light the darkest storm. The station shuddered as warning sirens echoed through its halls. Captain Mira Solis raced to the command center, Ambassador Illyra beside her, patterns pulsing bright with resolve. On the holoscreen, 3 unregistered vessels bore down fast, their silhouettes jagged against the starfield. Mira's voice rang clear. Battle stations, human and Zyretian forces, united defense grids, Alpha and Beta. She tapped a series of commands, sealing bulkheads and bringing energy to the station's laser turrets. Illyra's hand tightened on hers. We face this together, she whispered. Together, they sprinted through corridors lit by emergency red. Marines and Guardians fell into formation as they passed, inspired by their leader's calm courage. Mira reached the central gun deck first and activated the targeting systems. Turrets swiveled in unison, tracking the incoming craft. Illyra stood by a kinetic shield emitter. With a graceful motion, she wove her bioluminescent energy into the field, strengthening its coherence. The first pirate ship fired a plasma volley, but the shield shimmered and absorbed the blast. Sparks danced along its edge like fireflies. Mira called the order, return fire. Human crews opened up with precision lasers, slicing through one vessel's hull. It spun off course and drifted silently into the void. Illyra's patterns flickered in triumph. Yet 2 ships remained, their cannons charging. A warning chime blared, an enemy missile locked onto the power core. Mira swore and turned to Illyra. I need your help to reroute power. Without hesitation, Illyra dashed through the blast doors to the engineering node. Mira followed, her boots echoing on the metal floor. They arrived at the reactor control panel, where Illyra placed her hands on the interface. She closed her eyes, channeling her inner bioluminescence into the station's circuits. Lights pulsed, and the power diverted from non-essential systems to the emergency shields outside in the holoscreen. The second pirate missile faltered, losing its fix on the core. The third vessel, caught off guard, veered away. Human gunners seized the moment, firing a precise volley that crippled its engines. All threats fell silent. Mira exhaled, relief flooding her. She embraced Illyra, grateful tears in her eyes. Illyra's glow softened in response, warmth like dawn breaking. We did it, Mira whispered. In the aftermath, the station's crew gathered in the central atrium. Humans and Zyretians stood side by side, the glow of repaired crystal walls casting soft light on their faces. Mira and Illyra stepped forward. Mira raised her voice so all could hear. Today, we faced fear and fire, and we prevailed, not as 2 species, but as one united people. Illyra added, "May this victory be the first of many for our shared home. Let trust guide our path." The crowd erupted in cheers that blended human shouts with harmonious Zyretian song. Later, atop the observation tower, Mira and Illyra watched the station drift peacefully among the stars. Mira held Illyra's hand, their pulses in quiet accord. "The darkness tested us," Mira said, "but our bond shines brighter than any star." Illyra rested her head on Mira's shoulder. "In your courage, I found strength. In our unity, hope." Her bioluminescent patterns glowed softly in a gentle wave. Mira turned to face her. "Illyra, when we return to Earth and Zareta, will you stand with me?" Illyra's silver eyes sparkled. "Not just stand, but walk beside you always." As the first rays of Zyreta's sunrise painted the horizon, Mira and Illyra sealed their promise with a tender kiss. It was a union of hearts and worlds, proof that love and understanding could conquer fear. And so, beneath twin suns, humanity and Zyretia embarked on a shared journey. The station's lights glowed with renewed hope, its corridors warmed by laughter and song. Two hearts, once strangers, had forged a bridge across the void and, through their bond, had shown the universe that even the greatest differences could unite in harmony. A new dawn had arrived,